First, I want to start out by giving our praises to Yahweh Bahashima Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, and give honors to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners out here spreading this truth with sincerity, right? Um, we'll deal with the parable of the 10 virgins, right? We'll do a breakdown on the parable of the 10 virgins. We'll start with Matthew 25. We're going to read 1 through 13. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. Right? You know neither the day nor the hour when the Son of Man cometh. So you want to always be prepared. You want to always have oil to trim your lamp. Right? So we want to deal with what makes one wise, what makes one foolish. But first we want to deal with the lamp. Right? So we're going to deal with the lamp. And let's deal with Baruch 4 first. Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandment of God and the law that endure forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, O Israel, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto a strange nation. O Israel, happy are we, for things are pleasing to God, and are made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Ye were sold to nations, not for your destruction, but because you were moved to the wrath. Because ye moved God to wrath, you were delivered unto enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not unto Yahweh. Ye have forgotten the everlasting God that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. But we really want to just deal with that first verse. I just gave you some crumbs for that last piece. That was just something for you to chew on, just a little appetizer for you to take with you. That Baruch chapter 4 verse 1 through 8 is heavy, but we really want to just deal with that verse 1 and 2. This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endure forever. All that shall keep it shall come to life, but they that leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Take hold of this lamp. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated, that you can be illuminated, that you can be a light to the world. Let's go also to Proverbs 6 verse 23. Proverbs 6 verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproof of instructions are the way of life. Anybody telling you that, anybody that can't tell you nothing, anybody that can't receive a reproof, that can't receive a rebuke from somebody, they're headed towards death. Reproofs are the way of life. Reproof of instructions are the way of life. The law is the light. The commandments are the lamp. Right? Let's go to Psalms 119, my favorite psalm. 119, 105. One of my favorite. Probably my favorite right now. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. So the lamps were these law, statutes, and commandments, right? And and we'll deal with the wise, and we'll deal what makes one wise and what makes one foolish. Well, we deal with wisdom first, right? We go to Deuteronomy 4:6. What makes a person wise? 4:6. Yeah, 4 verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 6. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. Let me give you verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. A wise and understanding people. We go to Proverbs. So those law, statutes, and commandments, those are the things that make you wise. And those are actually your lamp. 28 and verse 7. 28 and 7. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of a righteous man shameth his father. I was just actually dealing with how the wise son makes the father glad. I can give you a little piece of that, Proverbs 10:1, just a little extra bonus. The Proverbs of Solomon: a wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. But let's get back to the point. What makes a man wise? A wise son is he whoso keepeth the law. Proverbs 28 verse 7. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of a righteous man shameth his father. So a wise son is he that keepeth the law. Somebody that is wise is he that keepeth the law. Let's go to Proverbs 19:7. 19:7. That ain't what I wanted. Psalms 19:7. Shalaki. Happens sometimes. 19:7. The law of the Lord is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. Making wise the simple. The law is of the Lord. The law of Yahweh is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahweh is sure, making wise the simple, right? So what makes one foolish? What makes him foolish? Let's go to Jeremiah 5:4. I'm bringing this out a lot in these streets. In the streets. Jeremiah 5:4. Therefore I said, surely these are poor, they are foolish, for they know not the way of Yahweh, nor the judgment of their Elohim. They don't know the judgment. They don't know the way. They are foolish. That's what makes them foolish. Those virgins were foolish because they didn't know the way and they didn't know the judgment. Let's go to Titus. Go to Titus 2:3. I always had trouble finding Titus, man. It's like 3-4 chapters. We're gonna go to Titus 3:3. For we ourselves also were sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving divers lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy and hateful and hating one another. Right? If you're not following to the law, statutes, and commandments, you're in foolishness. The flesh is foolishness. You're dealing with folly. All right, you're dealing with folly. So, for we ourselves also were sometimes foolish. And the things that are foolish are disobedience, being deceived, serving divers lusts, serving your own lust, serving your own pleasures, living in malice and envy, being hateful and hating one another. Those things make you foolish. And we'll get one more precept, man. In Ezekiel 13 verse 3. 13:3. Thus saith Yahweh, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. So anybody dealing with their own righteousness, anyone finding their own selves wise and it being wise in their own eyes, they're gonna be foolish. They're considered foolish. And those virgins were foolish because they were wise in their own eyes, thinking that they had enough oil. And what we want to deal with is, how do you replenish the oil? That's the main point of this video. It's about how to replenish the oil. How do you know if you got enough oil in your lamp? You should, but the thing is though, you should always keep your lamp full of oil. Right? So how does one lose oil? One loses oil doing foolishness, living in the world, doing things of the flesh. You replenish your oil, or you keep oil in your lamp by living in the spirit continually, right? And sometimes you may use a little oil, but sometimes you'll have to replenish that oil, right? Because we know we're all striving to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Not all of us are perfect. I ain't gonna say that there aren't perfect people out here, because who am I to say that? There may be some people out here living perfect, and I really don't like see brothers saying that. There are really some brothers that are living perfect at the moment, or to the best of their ability. Like I say, you know, a lot of these things we can't do because of this captivity. But the replenishing of the oil. Let's go to Psalms 144. Psalms 141, Shalach. Psalms 141, verse 7. I think that is a supercut for how do you replenish this oil. 141, verse 5. Supercut for how you replenish your oil. How are you going to replenish that oil? Right? Because the virgins told the wives told him, like, you need to go out and go get you some more oil. Right? Let the righteous smite me. Psalms 141 verse 5. Let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness. And let him reprove me. It shall be excellent oil. So let the righteous smite me. It shall be a kindness, man. So when your brother smites you, it should be kindness unto you. That's kindness. A righteous smite. Cause sometimes you gotta be shook up, man. You ever seen oil? You ever see? I know Jake loved ranch and blue cheese, but if you ever had salad dressing like vinaigrettes, that oil will separate if you just leave it there. If it just stays idle and it's not being used, it'll separate. So sometimes you have to get back and go in the refrigerator and shake that oil up to get it back mixed in. And that's what happens to us when we idle and we're not walking in this truth and we're being lukewarm in this truth. That oil starts separating from us. That law starts separating from us. that light starts dimming. No matter how much we trim it, that light starts dimming. And we start running out of oil. So that righteous smite shall be kindness, but that reproof, you need your brothers to reproof you. You need your brothers to rebuke you. We're going to have to start rebuking. We're going to have to start checking. Because that's going to keep that oil. That's going to replenish that oil. It says, it shall be an excellent oil, which shall not break my head. For yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities. But that smite and that reprove me, it shall be an excellent oil. That was Psalms 141, verse 5. Now let's go to Psalms 45, verse 7. Psalms 45, verse 7. Thou loveth righteousness and hateth wickedness. They love people. They think, man, God don't hate. Thou loveth righteousness and hateth wickedness. Therefore, God, thy God, have anointed thee with oil of gladness above thy fellows. So you have to be indulged with your righteousness. You're going to get indulged with that oil of gladness. I got one more super cut. That was a little loop. That wasn't a good cut, but one more super cut, right? Proverbs 21, verse 20. Did the one here. That Psalms 141, verse 5 was a heavy one too. And you have to be in that oil of gladness too when you're dealing in this righteousness. Even in affliction, you need to be dwelling and have that oil of gladness upon your head. But the Proverbs 21, 20. There is a treasure to be desired, an oil in the dwelling of the wise. So you're going to have to be around, you're going to have to dwell around righteous people. You're going to have to dwell around that wise son that keepeth the law. In Proverbs 28:7. You're going to have to dwell around righteous people. You can't be unequally yoked. You can't be out here dwelling in the world. If you're dealing with more people in the world than you are with people who righteous, then you're losing oil. You're gonna be out here losing oil. So there is a treasure, Proverbs 21:20. There is a treasure to be desired, an oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. And that's what happened with those women, with those virgins. They spent it up. They spent up their oil, doing foolishness, dwelling in the world, dealing with foolish people, dwelling in the place of foolishness, dwelling in a place where everybody passing blunts around, dwelling in a place where everybody getting drunk, dwelling in a place where everybody's being heartless, everybody shaking booty, everybody want to show cleavage, dwelling in a place of strange doctrines, dwelling in a temple with strange doctrines, dwelling around strange women. You lose your oil. You spin it up. And when the bridegroom comes, guess what? You're not going to have no oil left. And that's what happens to a lot of our brothers. They get burnt out. They lose that oil. They get a little oil from being around the righteous, and then that's why you can't forsake the assembly. Gather yourselves together. That's Zephaniah 2:1, brothers. You love that. Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together, O nation undesired. Because there is oil. There's oil in the dwelling place of the wise, so your lamp won't burn out. You can't forsake the assembly. So then the virgins told him, man, we can't give you no oil because I ain't going to be able to give you no. If I'm up there and I'm not forsaking this, I can't give you no oil because the oil can't be sold. It has to be bought, but it can't be sold. Let me give you this Proverbs 23:23. Proverbs 23:23. Why there? Buy the truth and sell it not. Also, wisdom and instruction and understanding. Let me read that again for you. Proverbs 23, verse 23. Buy the truth and sell it not. That's what the wisdom. I mean, listen, I can't give you none. Go to them people that's doing that buy that sells it, and go buy you some oil. I can't sell it. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also, wisdom and instruction and understanding. And by the time they went out there to go get that, man, matter of fact, by the time they was trying to get back right, it was on. The wedding was over. You know, Mashiach said, I know you not. I know you not. So you can't be lukewarm in this thing, man. You can't be lukewarm in this thing. You're going to have to continue to get around and stay around the brothers, man. Don't be forsaking the assembly. Don't be forsaking the studies. And a lot of you don't want to deal with the Bible classes. You don't want to deal with coming out on Sabbath day. You don't want, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go out to camp. You know what I'm saying? You should be doing everything you can because there's oil there. And the reason you don't want to go out because you done ran out of oil. You need to replenish your oil. And then you don't want nobody to reprove you. You don't want nobody to rebuke you. Which makes you foolish. And you're going to miss out, man. Because no man knows the hour. He comes as a thief in the night. No man knows the hour. You're going to miss the trip. We're going to be out there beating them to the wedding. And you supposed to be out there beating them to the wedding. You already in this truth. You already have oil. You had oil. So you already know the truth. Those virgins already knew the truth. They had a little oil. They didn't just have a lamp with nothing in it. It was a little oil in it, but they spent it up. That Proverbs 21:20. Let's read that one more time. There is treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up. You dwell around the wise, get a little oil, and then go out there and cast it amongst pigs, man. You cast that truth amongst devils, amongst demons. You spend it up. You spend it up in the world. With that, I want to say shalom.